Howdy folks, Little John in the brewery, and it's time to knock up a new experiment. And today we're looking at knocking up a kit brew, but I'm going to split it and I'm going to compare how it turns out using tap water and using clean natural spring water. Quite often you see discussions people talking about, quite often blaming the water for the taste and the twang and the off flavours that you can get with kit beers. Like for some reason chlorine seems to cop the big bag out as the main thing that causes the problems. So let's try it, let's find out. So before we get into that, big thumbs up, shout out to all Little John's Patreons. Cheers guys. As always, thanks for watching. If you're interested in Patreon, hit the link down below in the description, find out what it's all about. Other than that, if you're watching and you aren't subscribed, hit the subscribe button and also hit the like button if you're coming along for the journey. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, starting off with one of the Brewmaker lagers I said I bought a 6-pack of these so I could experiment with them. So this is what we're going to experiment. These are out of date, not by a real long way, only by a couple of months. Which, listen to all the experts on the internet, they tell you that's not a problem. So, in the last batch I did of this, come out quite alright. So that's our base. I will mix that with a bit of Dex and a bit of wheat malt. Now, I'm not sure exactly what numbers are going to be. I've just got to see we've got about 400 of Dex. I've got plenty of wheat malt. Okay, it's about a bit over 600 of that. So I'm going to just use all of that. I'm going to split that between the two. So about 200 Dex, about 300 of the wheat into each batch. So it's only going to give us a reasonably lightish sort of alcohol, but I want to really be able to taste the underlying flavour, so I don't want anything overpowering it too much. So I've said half is going to be just tap water. It's going to take tap water straight from the tap into the fermenter, because that's the way we do it. If you're brewing your beer, generally your fermenting tub, whatever you're fermenting in, is generally just sitting on your kitchen bench or your laundry bench or wherever it is, but generally the water just goes straight from the tap into your fermenter and gets mixed up. Not too many of us like the kit brewers are worrying about trying to dechlorinate the water. So I want this experiment to be completely looking at the basis of straight up water with no treatment. So we haven't done anything to try and get the chlorine out of the water. The most I've done is I've boiled 1.5 litres to start the mixing process. Okay, and what we're using on the other half is this stuff here. This is natural spring water from Tasmania. So this is supposedly very nice and pure and clean. Now I've only got 10 litres. I'm going to need about 10.5 litres in the fermenter. So I've got 2 bottles of pure AU floating around, which I will use. I'm going to stick these in the jug. I'll boil these as our boil to start off our mixing. So that's as pure as water can get. That's full reverse osmosis and all the rest of it. So there's nothing in that. So these should be nice and clean, and not too many minerals to add anything, and certainly no chlorine to affect the flavours. So that's what we're doing. So let's get on with it. Righto. About 1.5 litres of boiled tap water. Let's make sure these taps are closed. Got boiling tap water running all over my feet. Okay. And we'll top up the jug with our 2 bottles pure water. Get that going. Now, that's going to get a bit noisy, so quickly before it does. Can, brew makers, been in the sink. I'll get the lid off it. And while the jug's coming up to a boil, I'll get this split between the two fermenters. Okay, now, tin tells me it's 1.8 kilos, so that should give me 900 between each. Got the scales here. 1987, so I want 1.087 left. And we've gone over. Good start, John. Ah, well. We're about 100 gram over, so what I'm going to do is I'll just cut this one back. I'll make this one 10.5 litres instead of 11.5. And see if that gets us to the same gravity. Should get us around the same mark, I would estimate. It doesn't have to be precise, but I do want them similar, so we're certainly tasting very similar beers. I don't want the beers, they can't be too different in flavour. Well, that's just going to make things a little bit difficult. Everything I could sneak would do. Oh, that's not going to work. Righto. That is an issue with it. We're doing it this way. Normally when I do a split batch, I'd mix up the batch in the in a big 23 litre fermenter, do the full mix up, and then split it down from there. But because I can't have the water's mixing, I couldn't do that. So get this fella going. I'll get some cold water in that. Alright, so I just want to get some mixing going on and get this temperature down just a little bit before I add the malt in, just to avoid it bloody getting too clumpy. Now, as we know, malt dissolves better at a high temperature, but not at a real high temperature. It likes warm water, but not hot, not really hot water. So it's like 60 degrees, we're really happy with. Boiling or near boiling, and it tends to want to clump together. Which isn't a problem during the ferment, because it ferments out. The yeast gets in and eats it anyway, and it breaks down. But it can make it hard to get a accurate initial reading, which I prefer to avoid. So we'll get a little bit of this spring water in here. So while I'm moving that stuff out of the way, I just grabbed yeast out of the fridge and start going up the temp. Now, even though these are a lager, I'm not going to brew them. I'm not going to brew it as a lager. I'm going to use Nottingham, and I'll just brew it a little bit cool. So I'll probably run it around 15 degrees. I'm not going to muck around with full lager ferment for this, and apart from anything else, I don't have 2 packets the Van Geese. I've only got single packets because they're all ready to do starters with. So that's not going to get me real far. So 2 packs of Nottingham it will be. And again, nice and clean. Not going to give me any flavours to mask what's going on in the beer with the water. I'll just put the scales away before I've weighed out the fucking sugars. Clever bastard, aren't I? Righto, well, seeing I've already proven today just how good I am at going half and half, we're gonna do it again. We'll get it close enough. And I've gone for the wheat malt. I've got plenty of light dry malt, but I thought let's go for a bit of a nice light bodied lager with a bit of that wheat in there to keep it light and fresh. See how it works. So could work as a secondary experiment as well. See how the wheat malt goes. Right, I'll get these mixed in, topped up, and come back when we're got them together, and we'll have a look what the final gravities come out at. And wrap this up. Okay, we're all mixed up, and anyone with eagle eyes and was paying attention would have realised that when I topped this fella up with the spring water, I threw the whole 10 litres in. What was left of the 10 litres, I just dumped the whole thing in, which means I've got around 12.5 litres in there, which is a litre more than I should have had with the original kit to start with, let alone being 2 litres over the 10.5 that I was going to try to get to bring back matching up with this fella. So I've gone to about the same level on the other. I've added somewhere in the vicinity of about 100 grams of just dry malt into this one, just to try and bring it up. It was the colour was way lighter than this fella over here. I don't want them being too far off each other, so that's that. So let's get a hydro and a bit of a sample on this, and see where we're starting from. Sheet. Now tap water has an original gravity of let's call that 1038. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. That's one start. Let's see where the other one starts at. Hopefully it's somewhere in the ballpark. Like she might be just a tad higher. Yeah, I'm going to call that 1040. Close enough. Close enough for me. Funnily, I'm going to say that the 1040 on the spring water is actually less malty up front. It's not a lot, but it is a bit, but I don't think it's going to be enough to skew up to cause too much problems with what we're trying to investigate. And I think that's probably just because this tin's got a little bit older and starting to darken a little bit with the malt as it's aged. But I don't think it's going to be a problem. Should not be an issue. These are, I'm not sure what the temperatures. I'm going to get these into the ferment fridge, get a probe on them and actually get a temperature, and I'll be looking to ferment these at 15, so it's a little bit cool from Nottingham, but it will work down there without too much issue. I said hopefully that will keep it nice and clean. I'll probably run it for about 4 days at 15 and then bump it up like a fast ferment sort of a profile, just to help it to get finished off. I don't want to sit here for too long. I want to get in, get it out, because at the moment I've got no beer of my own in the fermenters, so I'll be happy with that. So as long as this gets down to about 18 degrees, I'm happy to pitch the yeast at that point. It's about that ambient at the moment, so the yeast will be up to that without any problem fairly shortly. So that's her. So we're looking realistically 6 to 8 weeks before tasting. Ideally, we're looking at a really 2 week ferment before she's in bottles, and then give it 6 weeks to age out properly and condition, and then we'll knock over a taster on this one, see what differences we come up with, if any. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Got any comments, any questions, stick them down the bottom. Patrons again, thank you guys, cheers very much. Subscribers, thank you as well. If you aren't a Patreon, you aren't subscribed, check them both out. Hit the buttons, could be your thing. Hit the like button if you're still here, either way. That's me, Little John. Tap water versus spring water in a kit beer experiment underway. I'll see you soon. So until then, next time we're brewing beer, we're drinking beer, or we're talking beer, good brewing.